Welcome back to the channel, guys. Let's get straight into today's story. Jeremy Corbyn is one of those figures in British politics whose reputation seems to get worse with time, not better. Once sold as the kind of principled outsider who was going to change politics, he now stands as a warning of what happens when ideology is allowed to override leadership responsibility and basic moral clarity. And nowhere is that failure clearer than the issue that ultimately destroyed his leadership: anti-Semitism within the Labour Party. Now, let's be clear from the start, this wasn't a media invention, it wasn't a smear campaign, and it wasn't just a few bad apples. The Equality and Human Rights Commission, an independent statutory body, carried out a full investigation into Labour under Corbyn and concluded that the party had unlawfully discriminated against Jewish members. That's not an opinion, that's a legal finding. It found political interference in complaints, a failure to act, and the culture that allowed anti-Semitism to fester unchecked. And this is where Corbyn's defenders always struggle, because if he was such a principled man, such a strong moral leader, how did this happen on his watch? The answer is uncomfortable but obvious. He either didn't take the problem seriously, didn't understand it, or didn't want to upset the ideological factions around him. None of those are acceptable excuses for someone leading a major political party, let alone someone who wanted to be Prime Minister. Now, what made things worse was Corbyn's reaction when the EHRC report was published. Instead of offering a fully unqualified apology and accepting responsibility, he tried to downplay the issue, suggesting the scale of anti-Semitism has been dramatically overstated for political reasons. That single statement told everyone exactly what they needed to know. Even when faced with legal findings, even when Jewish members were saying they felt unsafe and unwelcome, Corbyn's instinct was denial and deflection. That response is what led to his suspension from the Labour Party, and again, this wasn't the establishment going up on him. This was his own party, recognising that his words and behaviour were incompatible with the standards expected of a former leader. He was later blocked for standing as Labour MP, effectively ending his parliamentary career under the party banner he once led. For many voters, this episode confirmed what they suspected all along. Corbyn wasn't a serious leader. He wasn't capable of managing a complex organisation, standing up to extremism within his own movement, or taking responsibility when things went wrong. He allowed grievance politics and ideological purity tests to dominate, and the result was a party that lost the trust of huge sections of the public. It's also worth noting the wider damage this caused. Labour's reputation on anti-Semitism didn't just hurt Corbyn, it hurt Jewish communities who all felt abandoned by a party that once claimed to stand against discrimination. It also poisoned political debate, making it harder to have a serious conversation about racism because everything became tribal and defensive. Now, today, Corbyn still has supporters who insist history will be kind to him, but history tends to judge outcomes, not intentions. And the outcomes of Corbyn's leadership was catastrophic. Electoral defeat, a divided party, and a formal finding that Labour had broken equality law. That is not a legacy of a misunderstood hero, it's the record of a failed leader. As Labour now tries to present itself as a competent and responsible under new leadership, Corbyn's era hangs over like a cautionary tale. It shows what happens when moral posturing replaces moral action, and when leaders refuse to confront uncomfortable truths within their own ranks. Now, whatever you think of Corbyn personally, the facts are the facts. Anti-Semitism was allowed to grow under his leadership. It was confirmed by an independent investigation, and his refusal to take full responsibility cost him his position. That's not a smear, that's accountability. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you want more honest political commentary and don't want to miss what's really happening behind the headlines, hit that subscribe button and drop your thoughts in the comments below.